I mean, some of the Christians in the church at Corinth died. Some of them were sick and some of them died. Now, let me just say this to you in a way of disclaimer. Not when you see someone sick, you say, oh, God's dealing with them or whatever. Some sickness comes from the curse of the world. It's inevitable. We're going to go through sickness and pain and all the rest of it. We're losing, our lives. We're getting older. We're deteriorating. But there are some sicknesses that the Lord, no doubt, allows in our life because He's trying to deal with us because we're gone wayward. The Corinthians were taking the Lord's Supper in vain. They were having, instead of celebrating the Lord's Supper in a very sober manner, they were celebrating their own little personal things in the church and disgracing, if you will, the blood of Christ and the sacrifice of Christ. Some of them even died, not only were sick. However, the way that God deals with His children, even to that point, is way different than the way God deals with the heathen. Look what He says to the church at Corinth. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 31. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. In other words, scrutinize yourself. And God gives you time to do that. When we see the Corinthians being sick and die, we don't see it in an instant. There would have been great room for the Corinthians to what? Recover. Great room. So scrutinize yourself. Where am I? What's going on? Why am I sick? Because God can help us. The prayer of faith will save the sick. God can help us recover. Why am I this ill? Why, whatever. Is this from you, Lord, or is it just from the curse of the world? Examine yourself, judge yourself, and if you do that, because you are wayward, you won't be judged by the Lord. In other words, chasten. Look at this. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are what? Chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Let me just say, even when God chastens us all the way to heaven, it's better than the death of the wicked that lives a long life and dies. Isn't it? Go live your life. How much? 80 years to go, 100 years, and then what, my friend? Die without the Lord and go to hell? What a sickening reality you have for your life. Even the wayward Christian, when God deals with him, precious are the death of the saints in the sight of God. Even then, God says, come home, son. You're not disgracing me here on earth anymore. I'm taking you home. Even that's a blessing. Not that we should test the Lord, but you know what I'm talking about. No one glories in the wayward son. You want the best for your son. And you know what happens to that person? They don't lose their salvation, but they're going to lose reward. They're going to lose many blessings in heaven that God intended for them. And then don't have this attitude is, well, as long as I just get to heaven, that's all good. No, don't have that attitude. I don't know about you, but I want to live to my full potential of what God has willed for me as a blood-bought child of God here on earth. I want to know what it is that God, my Heavenly Father, wants me to do before I depart. I don't want to have a premature death. But what I'm simply saying is that God deals with us as children so we're not disgraced like those that are God haters. And that even in itself is a blessing.